and welcome to SustainaPod, the podcast produced by young people for young people about the world of sustainability. My name is Scarlett, and today I'll be co hosting this episode with Bernice and Hanna.
We're thrilled to have Sasha and Maxim, co founders of Buy It Marketplace in the UK, with us today to discuss their green tech startup and a vision of sustainable product sourcing. Who wouldn't want to shop local and sustainable? Thank you, Sasha and Maxim, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you both on SustainaPod.
So, to start off, could you tell us a bit about background about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So me, I come from London. I have a data background, and as of my hobbies, I really enjoy thrifting and shopping at small businesses, especially for cosmetics, clothes, and household appliances.
I'm Israeli and I'm living in Dubai and I'm from green tech, but I'm more a business person now, partnership. And now I'm joining US University in Silicon Valley.
Wow, impressive. So, first of all, we'd like to ask, why is sustainability so important to you guys? Do you have any stories about how you got into this or about encountering any environmental issues?
Well, I think sustainability is a big issue among several sectors, but something that really stands out to me is the data side of it. So it's very hard nowadays to actually know for sure if something is sustainable. There's so much information to look at. There's so much information which is unknown or undisclosed, and there are also so many different ways to assess if something is sustainable. So I think it's quite hard for people nowadays to understand if their food, for example, is actually sustainable or whether it's just a greenwashing commercial move. And the second part of it is, so in terms of fashion, as I've said, one of my biggest passions is small business shopping and thrifting. However, the mass market in terms of clothes and online purchases makes it very easy to be tempted to overconsume. And I think that none of us are safe from the marketing, the excessive marketing, and the temptation to overconsume at times. And I think that's where it's really important to be aware of what sustainability is.
Yeah, and I can start from general stuff. So basically, industry it always evolves, and I believe sustainability is new industry. And if Sasha was talking about fashion in terms of mass markets, I was inspired by Pangaea, which is more or less luxury brand in fashion, but they're not simply fashion as majority of brands do state. They're actually sustainable brands, and their goal and aim to inspire and accelerate the earth positive future is great. And if Pangaea is one of the first luxury brands which fully fulfill sustainability requirements, I wish buy it our project sort of to be a brand which the first brand which promotes sustainability consumer behavior in e-commerce. And yeah, those guys simply inspired me.
Was there anything that happened when you were in around secondary school level or high school or even in uni that led you to choose this career path into sustainability?
Yes. So in between high school and uni, so the last year of high school, I was working for a rewards company as an internship. And so this rewards company, they developed loyalty systems for big football clubs like the Premier League and also for big supermarkets, specifically food, like related supermarkets. And so when we were developing these reward systems, we'll do a lot of analytics and maths to figure out, okay, how do we get people to buy more? How do we put, the most tempting products at the front of the store to encourage more purchases and essentially more consumption? And so I think as I understood the principles behind how reward systems worked, I realized how much time people and effort people spend to get rewards. So people would watch, like hours of videos, and they would fill out surveys. They would do tasks around the store to get free stuff. So then I thought, okay, that's a lot of user attention, and user attention nowadays is pretty expensive. So can we turn it into something positive? And that's where kind of the shift came, and I thought, okay, we're going to make Eat It a rewards program which is nothing like the ones currently on the market. We're actually going to make it something which is a force of good and which encourages people to think about what they're buying instead of thoughtlessly buying stuff they don't need, essentially. So I think that's kind of.
And I can also state it from the user point of view, because in high school when you need to manage your own funds and money, I used the rewards app. um, And then like I understood I'm watching a lot of like strange videos, like filling some super strange surveys, and in order to get like this 5% discount. And I was like, okay, can I benefit myself of this work? Can I benefit myself of doing these activities? And that's how we connected with Sasha and built Eat It app.
Wow, that's very interesting. So, how did you guys get into the green tech space then?
As I've said at first, this was intended to be a reward system which was based on sustainability data on different foods. However, as it is a business, the first thing we did was talk to our potential users and customers, and we actually found out that there was a really big demand for a marketplace, and not just any marketplace, a marketplace which features local businesses. So we've considered all the risks and decided that we will shift towards a marketplace model, and that's what Buy It is at the moment.
Once you got into the green tech space, you guys made Eat It, the app. So we wanted to ask, what is Eat It, and now Buy It?
At its core, Eat It is the satisfaction or like the feeling you get when you buy from small businesses. And it's something that we wanted to make very special when transferring to the online. We didn't want to be like a typical marketplace such as Amazon, where you don't really have that experience of really unique selected products which will be available at your local market stall. We also wanted through our marketplace to help the communities and small businesses to develop, and also just in general to improve the and encourage conversation around purchasing from small businesses in all kinds of way and all kinds of products.
Yeah, I would add here that if like let's take a marketplace, Farfetch, yeah, it makes a stores, fashion stores digital. In our case, our marketplace, we make local friendly marketplaces, like small ones, digital. So like we're doing a little bit different stuff.
Besides how you guys have mentioned about you focusing on the sustainable area, you wanting to support local businesses, wanting to expand that marketplace, how exactly did you get the inspiration to make this specific platform that works in this specific way? So how do you get the inspiration to make Eat It essentially?
This was actually a personal story for me. So once I was walking around Portobello Market, which is one of the biggest markets here in London, and so I noticed that one of my favorite businesses, it sells like women's clothes, quite bright colored ones. It was at the very back of the market, and it didn't have any customers. And I was thinking, why does this amazing clothes stall with like super low prices and a very nice owner not getting any customers and not getting any sales? And then it dawned on me that because it was literally physically located at the very back of the Portobello Market, and it couldn't afford to get one of the frontline stalls, nor could it afford to spend lots of money on digital marketing campaigns or get people to go around and hand out leaflets or things like that, that this business wasn't getting any sales essentially. And so then I thought, okay, how can we change that on our platform? So that's why we started looking at features like highlighting the businesses which are new on the platform or the ones which have the least views. It's to prevent the disadvantages of traditional markets where, if you don't have enough money to be at the very front, or if you don't have enough money to encourage foot traffic, then you're essentially losing these essential sales, which are necessary to at least maintain the business. So that's where the idea for Buy It in a way which this now came from.
How did you build out your team? Were there any issues or disagreements and conflicts?
Yeah, I think I can elaborate it because like um, that was my initiative. Basically, we met with Sasha in school and we were like closely introduced by a business mentor. We had then we met our marketing officer Ivan, and like in terms of like the team, we simply then gained all the guys who had the shared vision. And what I can state here, we worked with people who didn't like take our vision or like were because like or let's say the financial stuff and etc. And we had issues and disagreements with people like who didn't agree with our vision like and our ideas. And at this point, all of our team, and it's like around 15, 16 people, all of them are engaged, are motivated by the vision and by the goals. And that's super, super important.
I understand that there would obviously be a lot of like disagreements and conflicts that come with, building an app and talking with other people. Obviously, they might have different views to you. But other than that, do you guys have any like fond memories or good stories from building the app so far?
I think that one of my most kind of precious memories with this app was initially when I was first starting it ages ago, drawing the whole app out on paper with like different multicolored pens and making different arrows between the screens to figure out, how they would all interact between each other. And it was really fascinating because I've kept these pieces of paper to see it all kind of come to life and for people to actually be clicking those buttons and scanning the foods and so forth. So that was a very fond memory of mine. Another one is so as a part of our marketing campaign, me and a few of my friends, we went around London markets, talking to small businesses, essentially asking them to sign up to our marketplace, pitching it, and so forth. And I think that was one of the most rewarding experiences because, first of all, we made lots of friends along the way. We got to try out some really cool products. I think we got a bag of fudge for free one time. That was really nice. And so it was just such a cool bonding experience for me and my friends, and also for the small businesses who are now will be joining our platform within the next few weeks. So I think that that was really cool.
I had one experience as well, because like we joined a lot of events. We were on Web Summit, and this happened on COP 28, which was held in Dubai a few months ago. And we had a lot of partners there, a lot of employees, and some of them pretty lazy ones. They simply like joined some communities or like went to the auditories and airdropped some our pitch files or our apps, as well as like simply dropped and like scattered our pitch like or any files like all over the place. It was pretty funny because like it wasn't, I would say, legal at this point, but that's one of the great memories.
It's so great to hear how this isn't something that you guys keep as a really serious business. You're actually having fun while doing it, and that's just amazing. So, this isn't a really this isn't a small feat. You guys have definitely put in a lot of work, and there are so many things that you've had to organize and get done. So, as a team, how did you guys delegate these tasks, and how did you hold each other accountable?
The first thing is that everyone who is in our team, fortunately, is quite passionate about the project already. So everyone kind of manages themselves and sets their own tasks and deadlines. From the development kind of point of view, because that's something I'm quite involved with, we would have like a weekly goal that we were trying to accomplish. We would then have a bunch of tasks, split them between each other, and then next week hold each other accountable during the meetings and see if we had any troubles.
As an operational officer, I would say that like I'm following the standards of ethical leadership, and that's pretty important. Like I'm always open to conversations and etc. But it was complicated. We structured a great system in Notion. I think you know that's like management app with deadlines, task prioritizations, and etc. Um, and like it works. But if the task is not completed by some employee or some partner, etc., I would like have a conversation with them, like to motivate, to explain the vision, like state that, guys, that's great, and we need to follow this because like this will impact this, and this can create like the following issues, and like if I mean like you ethically and in the open way discuss some issues with employees, it's gonna work. The main thing is to motivate, not piss people off.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important. Um, so what would you say are the stages to building out an idea? With so many ideas, how do you condense it down into an MVP?
I'm sort of a business person here, and best way to test your target audience is build an MVP. Not like analyzing stuff and doing like all McKinsey work, but like I believe having the product and having something to showcase to the user is the best thing you can do. And that was our first MVP, the Eat It app. And because of it, actually, we rebranded to Buy It. We created the marketplace because users requested that. That's super important. And if talking about, let's say, for a profit company, because like we sort of anticipate to be for profit, but now we're at non-profit stage, and like obviously we're not prioritizing profit for profitability. But if we're talking about like let's say for a profit company, the first goal is to test the auditories, and like you can target like your like for example your friends and family. If you have no research for marketing, etc., it works. You can have a chat with people, you gain a lot of feedback and etc. Then you understand what you can do better, what your target audience wants, and then you simply like trying yourself or your own resources, you build an MVP and you see the reaction, you get at least some traction, and at this point you can get investments, and etc. Then you can expand, scale, build better app, and etc. So that's important points. And the main thing then, attempt to be fastest iterating company and like simply repeat the cycle.
So, well, I'd say that for us, one of the most difficult truths in this was to realize that not all of our ideas would be accepted by our audience, and that it's really important to listen to the users, and that not everybody thought the same way as us. And so this has meant that we, first of all, did a lot of user testing. So just for our app and our marketplace, we did about 100 personal interviews. Each one lasted 30 minutes to an hour. And then we went and repeated the same thing for the businesses. So there's a lot of talking to the users, there's a lot of requirements, and everyone has a different opinion. But then once you condense those requirements, that's when you start shaping things like the website, the design, the tone of voice, and the marketing strategy. Um, so yeah, I think that throughout the whole process, we just experimented, improved, and then pivoted if we realized that we were going in a direction which is further from the interest of our users.
You mentioned that obviously through the process it takes a lot of interviewing, asking about user requests and their opinions. So that links to why did you guys rebrand Buy It?
The initial idea was eat it. You go to store, you scan food, you get eco data. And it was pretty straightforward. But with the marketplace, and we sell like fashion stuff there, physical stuff, we don't sell food. And if it's named Eat It Marketplace, our audience simply didn't understand like what's Eat It Marketplace. And because of that, because of a lot of requests, we decided to rebrand to Buy It, which also like promotes sustainable shopping, etc. And also Buy It through the title will like sort of encourage people to buy from the local businesses in our marketplace. And we do state that like we're not selling food. So that's the main point.
Yeah, that does make sense. And next up, I think that the founders of SustainaPod can agree with this. To start something like this, it does take not only manpower, not only the idea, but you realistically do need money. So, how did you guys get in touch with investors and how did these conversations go along? How did you pitch your idea?
So we had a lot of conversations with investors, and as I stated, we were joining a lot of events like Web Summit and etc. In order to gain investors. But we then realized that it will take incredible amount of time, um, and sort of we need to focus on development, on our vision, and and all of this stuff. So we decided to bootstrap our platform and like using friends and family resources, we covered some expenses. And now, for example, like 10th of August, our platform will be released, and if there will be like nice demand, and we would not need to focus on development a lot, we would re-engage with investors and probably will have pre-seed round.
I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. And as young people, we need to do our part in trying to build a sustainable future as well. So, what do you think about the green tech space right now?
I think that first of all, there is a lot of opportunity in the green tech space at the moment. There are a lot of careers available. There is a lot of funding going into green tech startups and research. So I think there's definitely this opportunity, but I also think that there are quite a few problems. And one of the biggest problems I think at the moment, tying in with the opportunities, is that everyone, as I said at the beginning, has a different opinion of what sustainability is. The brands can use sustainability as a marketing tactic instead of actually a truthful description of their products. So I think that it's really important to distinguish those marketing tactics and focus on the growing opportunities in the field.
Basically, a lot of brands state we're sustainable, like fulfilling some regulations. But what I believe actually sustainable businesses, especially like in green tech startups, let's say like that, um, that this business should assist in achieving one or more UN sustainable goals and like showcasing results. As a lot of people know, there's like 17 UN sustainable goals. And the businesses should again demonstrate the results, not simply stating that. And obviously, those businesses shouldn't sort of negatively impact any other goals. And that's what actual sustainable business is, I believe.
But in the modern day world, in 2024, what would you say are some of the most major challenges that people who want to create a green tech startup will have to face?
Just the first thing that comes to mind, which was a big problem for us throughout, was research. So every fact which you say, if you are truly kind of sustainable and focusing on providing the correct data, has to not just be checked in itself. The source of it has to be checked, and the people behind it, and the organizations. And you have to go all the way down the chain to figure out that what you're saying is actually truthful, and you are not becoming the culprit of greenwashing. So I think that that's a huge challenge, and I think that also there are a lot of commercial challenges, which Max will go into.
Yeah, I would talk about finance, let's say, and governments and large, let's say, non-profit or even for-profit organizations attempt to support businesses now, which like in sustainability field. But money is important to build something, and like when you buy sell stuff, you can get profit like almost immediately. When you're working, for example, on the thing we're working on, like the marketplace, it's like almost 2 years without any penny, without a profit, and someone should support it. And those like sustainable investments, grants, they exist, but I believe they should improve even more in order to give small businesses or startups opportunities to build something great in sustainability.
Then how have you guys managed to gain funding at an early stage?
Basically, our funding is friends and family. And for example, I on my end and other guys engaged by it, we were able to earn something from, let's say, for-profit deals or businesses in early age, and we were able to invest it into it. We didn't gain any investments, let's say, from a formal investor at this point, like large investments, which can be considered as pre-seed or seed rounds. And this allows us to focus on development and on our own goals.
You guys mentioned like a lot of challenges, so like not becoming a culprit of greenwashing. Like as a company in the green tech space, and like gaining funding, that's also something really difficult. So that those might be some of the reasons that a lot of people aren't optimistic about um working in sustainability or the starting a green tech startup. And some students are actually not taught to not do sustainability related jobs in the future because of low pay. So why do you guys think students actively ignore the sustainability space, and what are some things that we can do about that?
I think that one of the biggest reasons is a lack of awareness. So the sustainability space is very broad. It ranges across starting from research and data analysis all the way to actual business side of it, manufacturing, supply chains. There's just so much opportunity within the space, which I think that some students are just simply unaware of. And I mean, one of the challenges of, I guess, any career field is the pay and the commercial side of it. But then again, there are so many different opportunities, which I think should just be presented to students more, perhaps in a more clear way and more often. And then it will probably allow students to first of all understand that they have a choice of what industry they want to work in within sustainability. Um, and then secondly to allow them to see that there is growth not just of the market of these jobs but also of like the salaries and the demand for them and so forth.
Yeah, I'll also add that a lot of students have, let's say, financial goals, and industries like finance, oil, gas, like and whatever, they're more attractive because like they sort of cool. People like it. It's beautiful. You have private jets, maybe not, but be like that's also like the way we explain what sustainability to students and young people. We need to explain that like it's not cool having a private jet. It's cool to promote and to make the world better in terms of sustainability, and in terms of, let's say, even green tech and CO2 emissions, and etc. So people need to have another values, different values than financial and monetary ones.
Yeah, that's such a good way to put it. As in, now people have to think about the wider world, really, just not about themselves purely just for money. So, You mentioned that this awareness of sustainability should be drilled in from a much younger age. So, if you guys could be students again, what do you think would help you to really propel you onto this path of sustainability? Or, like, what would you want to have been exposed to more early so that you could have developed this much more?
I would have wanted a marketing class in high school or as an elective at university. I think that, first of all, marketing in itself is absolutely fascinating, especially at the moment with the digital marketing and so forth. And it allows you to understand how the companies are getting you to buy things which you don't need, or how companies are changing your opinions, how they're shaping your definitions of sustainability, and so forth. So I think by understanding marketing, both physical and digital, then students would have a much better understanding of sustainability and be able to not fall for the marketing tactics which the big businesses use.
And I'll also add that me and Sasha went from IB, which is International Baccalaureate, in school, and we had those opportunities to learn about UN sustainable goals, but like majority of, let's say, educational system do not provide it. And I believe people and students should learn about UN sustainable goals and about careers in each of those goals, like about the jobs each of those goals create. Um, and also, which is important, students should not simply understand or hear about the positive impact on the world, but they should realize that this is the goal and this is like a nice goal to have in the life. Let's say like that. Additionally, I would just add that, let's say, important schools like some famous prominent schools, they do have guests who are like, let's say, rich famous people, let's say like that, successful in IT and etc. But I believe they should invite more successful people in sustainability who improve the world, not simply rich billionaires or like oligarchs or like the guys who financially sustainable.
Then, if you could give one piece of advice for a student that wants to join the sustainability space, what would it be?
I would say that there is a lot of hard work involved, whether you're choosing a career in sustainability or starting a startup. I mean, as with any startup, it's a lot of work, a lot of planning, and it can all fail. So that's something that you should just prepare for from the get go, I believe. But secondly, I think it would be to really look into the opportunities available within sustainability, because it really covers almost every sector, and every job can have a sustainability oriented side to it. So it will be to research the opportunities, form a network of people in this industry, and then make the career decision which would best fit with the students' interests, I think.
Thank you guys so much for your time. So before we finish today, do you guys have anything else you want to add?
We're releasing a platform very soon, and you can follow us on Instagram or visit our website. So our Instagram is Buy It Market, and you can see the marketplace released there in just a few weeks. And if you're a small business, feel free to reach out to us via email or via our website. We're always looking for new businesses to join us. So yes, stay tuned for updates.
Thank you so much to Sasha and Maxim for joining us today on this episode. And thank you to SustainaPod listeners for tuning in. Make sure to keep an eye out for upcoming exciting projects and events by SustainaPod. As always, we would love to hear from you about the episode, so let us know your questions and comments via Instagram at sustainapod_GIH or email at sustainapod@gmail.com. Thank you all for listening.